Next, I would like to invite uh, Kavita Muralidharan to go ahead and give her opinion.
Thank you so much, Tarani. Thanks for inviting me here, and I mean, I really liked both Tathagata sir's and Garga sir's speeches. I think they were like they made very important points. But before, I just wanted to like it. Hindi imposition is a problem. It started during the Congress era. Like I mean, the first in 19 we've been opposing Hindi imposition since 1920s. But I think the BJP is very aggressively kind of pursuing it, and that is why we need to keep talking about it. So yesterday I watched this. I mean, completely, very eminently an interview which needs to be eminently ignored because of its sheer stupidity of a BJP leader, a women leader, to a YouTube channel, which was very funny at different levels. But I wanted to use it as an excuse to speak about the role of women in Tamil Nadu in opposing Hindi imposition, because she says that women need to learn Hindi because, I mean, whatever she says is like if they travel from, say, Tamil Nadu, from Chennai to any other place where Hindi is a spoken language, they will be exploited, they will be cheated if they didn't know Hindi. That's her argument. But in Tamil Nadu, the opposition to Hindi imposition came largely from women. It was led by Tandai Periyar, but it came largely from women. There were women who got arrested with their kids, and that was in 1937-38. And there is this very interesting conversation between the women who got arrested. There were women like Muvalur Ramamridam Ammayar Narayani, Tamarikkani, Dr. Dharmambal, who, I mean, they were, and these women led the protest and they got arrested. And there is this very interesting conversation between a magistrate or a judge and these women, where they are very assertive and where they say that they will continue to oppose Hindi and it's their right to do so. You know, it's Tamil is our mother tongue, and we want our Tamil to be the common language here. It's in response to Rajaji government's idea of introducing Hindi into schools. So she says, Ramamridam says, in this government, if there is no room for protest against imposition of Hindi, how do we even live? And then there was another which is very, you know, in stark contrast to the current governments, the central governments or the union governments' ideological contours, where the women refuse to seek pardon, the women refuse to apologize for protesting against Hindi. And instead they say you should hold a referendum to decide who actually wants to learn Hindi, which I think is you know, it's a very important argument at that point of time. So and Dharmambal says that Tamil Nadu, if Hindi is imposed, it will not just affect this generation, but it will continue to affect generations together, in the next generations also. And as mothers, we need to do the needful to stop it. And that was our argument, which I think is very relevant even today. So there were women who led the protest, women who got arrested in large numbers, and women who got arrested with their kids. And they refused to, there is this very, I mean, it was published in Kudiyarasu in November 1938, I think, where the magistrate suggests that why do you do a demonstration in front of the school? Instead, you should be going to each house and shout in front of everybody's house. So Dharmambal responds saying, I don't have addresses of everybody. If the court is willing to share the list, we will do the needful. We'll go to every house and propagate against Hindi. So this is the kind of spirit that women of Tamil Nadu had upheld when opposing Hindi, and they refused to apologize. They said they were not committing any mistake by opposing Hindi, and they refused to apologize. So I think Garga Chatterjee covered a lot of points on why we need to unitedly oppose Hindi imposition. I wanted to reiterate Hindi imposition because
panel join பண்றதுக்கு.
So I wanted to quote Dr. Ganesh Devi, who's been working on this area for quite a long time. He's like discovered 780 languages, and he says, like Hindi, when you say that Hindi is a most spoken language, he also says how the present government, the BJP government, is kind of inflating the total, where is it 50 separate languages have been counted under the Hindi banner. 50 languages have been counted under the Hindi banner. So he like Bhojpuri, which is spoken by more than 50 million people, which has its own cinema, culture, literature, vocabulary, Ganesh Devi says is shown as Hindi. And there are many such similar languages which are like, which are put under the gambit of Hindi and are shown as Hindi speaking people. So Hindi, the basic argument that Ganesh Devi keeps pushing is that Hindi is neither a common language nor it is a major language. So this appeal for Hindi divas, Hindi, where Amit Shah keeps, I don't know when, someone said it, it's been there for since 1949, the Hindi divas day, but I think it's received a fresh impetus under the present BJP government. And Amit Shah's appeal to, to kind of take Hindi, to bring Hindi as India's national language has been, he's been repeatedly doing it. In the context, I also want to speak about how Tamil Nadu was resisting Hindi imposition. The first article, perhaps the first article which appeared in Kudiyarasu was in 1926, like a decade before the actual Hindi imposition took place. Actually, Hindi agitation, anti-Hindi agitations took place. In this article, which Periyar writes under a pseudonym, he equates Hindi with Brahmanism, which as an argument is still very, very relevant today. He believed that the language is used to spread the Brahminical religion Hinduism. And of course, a very famous Anna Durai interview to 1965 Illustrated Weekly, where some of which I think Garga had, I don't know if he had seen the interview. It's available as text all over the social media. But in the interview, the points raised by our Anna Durai, our former CM, is very relevant even today. So the question is, what are your objections to the South's adopting Hindi as the official language? Anna's answer is, my objections are mainly 6. First, Hindi in the context of South India is untenable. Secondly, it represents a tyranny of the majority. Thirdly, it will reduce the South Indians to the status of second-class citizens. Fourthly, in a multilingual country such as ours, one regional language is as good or bad as another. So Hindi has no special merit. Fifthly, domination of the non-Hindi areas by the Hindi areas will hamper rather than promote national integration. Lastly, Hindi in its present stage of development is inadequate and it's unsuitable in the perspective of the rapid advances in modern science and technology. If, for example, we had to accept the principle of numerical superiority while selecting our national bird, our choice would have fallen not on the peacock, but on the common crow. So this is what Anna said. The larger picture on why this the BJP government actually wants to push Hindi as the common language or the national language. As on 2020, the government has spent 643.84 crore rupees on the promotion of Sanskrit. For the previous 3 years, like 643.84 crores for a language that is spoken by not more than 20,000 people in this country. Whereas the combined amount spent for 5 classical Indian languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam and Odia, was 29 crore. So Sanskrit is spoken by less than around 24,000 people all over the country, receives 643.84 crore, and together the 5 classical languages, including Tamil, receives only 29 crore. Also, the report says, I took this data from a Times of India or Hindustan Times report, I can send the link. The center spending on Tamil through the Central Institute of Classical Tamil under the HRD ministry had gone down significantly. The CICT, the Central Institute of Classical Tamil, was allotted 10.59 crore in 2017-18, 4.65 crore in 2018 and 19, and 7.7 crore in 2019 and 20. So this is the case. Basically, the BJP, I think Dharani pointed out, BJP's idea of one nation, one language is not just one nation, one language. It's forever. RSS especially is forever believed in one nation, one people, and one country, and has always insisted on on this framework for taking the country forward if it ever comes to power, and that's what is happening now. Basically, they wanted to kind of subsume every other culture and every other language into this dominant Hindi speaking culture, where interestingly Hindi is not in Hindi as it is spoken today, the modern form of Hindi is not, maybe is around 200-year-old. It's not more than 200-year-old. And I mean, in the Hindustani language split into Hindi and Urdu, and that's how Hindi was born like 200 years ago. So BJP wants to, and they reiterated, the RSS has consistently reiterated that they believe in one nation, one people, and one country. And this is part of larger agenda. To the imposition of Hindi is part of this larger agenda to kind of promote this one nation, one people idea. And while, I mean, obviously, this is for a country, for a democratic country like India, this is going to really hit in a bad way, because I wanted to finish with what history teaches us. One of the most repeated political slogans of Nazi Germany, of Hitler, was Ein Volk, sorry for my German pronunciation, I'm not a native speaker, but Ein Volk, Ein Reich, Ein Führer, which means one nation, one empire, and one leader. The American historian Joseph Bendesky, he says this slogan left an indelible mark on the minds of most Germans who lived through the Nazi years. It appeared on countless posters and publications. It was constantly heard in radio broadcasts and speeches. The slogan emphasized the absolute control of the party over practically every sector of German society and culture, with the churches being the most notable exception. Hitler's word was absolute, superseding even the constitution. However, he had a narrow range of interest. So this, finally, there are also historians which point out that this slogan ultimately undid Hitler and undid Hitler's idea of Germany. And with that, I wanted to kind of end my speech. Thank you so much, Dharanjit and DPF.
Thank you so much for participating and your time.